Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Racers Driving League for Season 16, round number 20 of the Championship, the third to last round of the campaign, and our third to last race on F1 23. This is the Mexican Grand Prix from the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. I'm your host, Zach Rossi, bringing you all the action tonight from what could be a record-breaking evening today. As for the first time this season, the Drivers' Championship could be decided with 2 more rounds to spare, and it could go the way of Salve Grumio, who could win the title if he can outscore his teammate Landlord, who will be joining us later on by 6 points. A podium finish and a low score from Landlord could be enough for Grumio to secure his record-extending 7th Racers Driving League World Championship. But of course, we have got quite a bit of racing to get through tonight. Of course, qualifying first up, just me in the commentary box this week. Pope reserving in the McLaren tonight. So we've got 2 reserves in the race today. We have both Pope and we also have the Red Bull of a debuting reserve today in Sakir, who's debuting for the Red Bull team. I hope I pronounced the name right there. But hopefully we could be seeing another driver with rapid pace joining our ranks as a reserve for the last few rounds of the season. We're looking to follow in the footsteps of Wisburn in the pit lane right now. But looking at intermediate tyres and stuff, that could be another gamble. There he is, the man who has put himself up into 6th place in the Drivers' Championship after just only a few races. 23 points last week, a 5th place finish for him in the Circuit of the Americas. And we'll see what he's got. We'll go 4 places down in the championship to PJ Khaled in the Alpine for our lap of the circuit. He comes off that sweeping right-hander and across the line to start his first flying run. It's one of the longest runs down towards turn 1 that we get all season here. All the way down to that first corner. A lot of opportunity for DRS here. You can see several overtakes going on in one straight. Down towards turn number 1. Through the opening right, left, right complex of the first 3 corners. And now away onto the second DRS straight. A good exit from turn 3. Could mean another overtake down towards turn number 4. Into the first sort of stadium section here. A few more grandstands about. Very technical, this second sector. Very good on corner exit in particular as he goes through 6 and 7. And now looking towards the chicane here. We've seen many a driver go off here in the past. Keep an eye out for that later tonight. PJ navigating it perfectly there. No issues whatsoever. Car in the way. That's one of the Williams cars. That'll be Grumio. As Flying Ducks gets the first up of the session. We'll win at 16.6. PJ into the stadium section here. And looking for the exit into the final corner. Turn 16 and now 17. Charging towards the line. Can he beat Flying Ducks opening time? He cannot. 1 minute 16.794. Still a fantastic lap to start things off. So not bad at all. Imrie goes fastest there. Of course, last week's runner-up. Coming off of the back of a 1st and a 2nd place finish in the last 2 races. A win in Qatar and a 2nd place finish in Kota, Texas last week. Looking to try and cap off the season, of course, but he has got a rival in Cott who's rapidly chasing him down in the Drivers' Championship. The gap between them now after Cott's win, just 8 points. So the fight for 3rd is not over yet. Several cars making their early laps here. Sakir, the debutant, in 3rd place, 1 minute 16.758. So just slotting between Flying Duck and PJ Khaled there. Ethan in 5th. Shane is in 6th, cutting through the grass there at turn number 3. Lucky Lambert on the way through here. 57.1 is 2nd sector. Grumio on the medium tyres here for his first qualifying run. Have to keep an eye as to what he can achieve here. Right on board with them. Curtis disconnecting. That could be a problem for him later on. Lucky Lambert over the line goes P2. Fantastic lap to start things off for the Aston Martin. JB, his teammate across the line, 1 at 17.2. Not fantastic by comparison there. 56.7 for Grumio in the 2nd sector. And that could be nerve-wracking as Cott now goes fastest by 0.3 of a second. And of course, Cott and Grumio have been up there the last few races or so in terms of qualifying pace. Grumio over the line here. 1 minute 16.242. So 115's right now currently set by Cott and Imrie, but Grumio is 6/10 off on a medium tyres. If put them on the softs, we could see a different story later on. 11 cars and set lap times there. Wisburn's gone for a lap on the intermediate side. He's set a 1 minute 21.2. I imagine he's just getting expertise there. But I'm not sure how much the expertise will help him unless it rains later on. Of course, we're unsure if it will. There's Pope. Of course, not with us tonight, but should be with us for the last 2 rounds in Brazil and Abu Dhabi over the next 2 weeks. Of course, a brief overlap between F1 23 and F1 24. So we'll finish the season on F1 23 and then we'll end it. So yeah, we'll finish season F1 23 and then we'll start the next one on F1 24. Should be very exciting. Of course, a game that feels very different so far from my personal experience compared to F1 23. Pope above the line goes P8. It's very close so far. It's only the top 5 separated by about a second or so, but just outside that window, there's several drivers that goes down to about P10 or so that are really only 1 or 2 tenths out from that. 6 drivers yet set laps. Lycon, Courtney Goblin, Brad J, Websy, Curtis and Badman. I see Grumio coming back into the pit lane now. Imrie on another outlap. He's going again. Lucky Lambert off the last corner. Looking at another run here. Still P4 at the minute. It's been a fantastic start to his qualifying session here. Aston Martin still 9th place in the Constructors' Championship. Lucky Lambert, just 3 points for him across the season. It might be a good opportunity for him to try and score some points. Because of course, while the race of the Constructors' Championship is over, Williams are confirmed as champions. 58 points clear of Red Bull. And unable to be caught in the last 2 races. Well, across the last 3 races, rather. Of course, Red Bull second. Ferrari are still chasing them. It'd be quite... I believe they may be just out of reach. It'd take near perfect results for the remainder of the season for them to finish second in the Constructors' Championship. Alfa Romeo looks set for 4th place as they become Kick Sauber in season 17. And at the bottom of the championship, it's still all very close. 13 points covering the bottom half of the table. As Imrie starts his next lap. So a rundown of that championship as it stands. So Alpine sits in 6th place on 26 points, just 2 points back to Haas, they're on 24. 8th place for Mercedes, they're on 21 points. Aston Martin on 16 in 9th, thanks to a JB resurgence in the second half of the season, largely in part in terms of point scoring finishes. And Lycon and Flying Duck, currently last place in the Constructors with 13 points. They just need 3 to avoid finishing dead last. But of course, there are still 2 more rounds to go after this one, so plenty of time for things to change. But with Flying Duck up there in the order, doing a fantastic job right now in P5 and actually 2 tenths up. Or 1.3 tenths up in the first sector, and now 3 in the second intermediate, and we could be looking potentially at him putting himself up into 4th place, maybe even 3rd, over Grumio. Be a tough ask for the pack to match Cott and Imrie, who've come alive in recent weeks and are really challenging, especially in qualifying. Both drivers quite tough to beat on their day, but regularly up there, and that's the main thing for them. Consistency has been absolutely key, and they'll be hoping they can go for a full title tilt next season. Of course, unsure as to teammate lineups for season 17. Those will be revealed at a later date, and of course we'll do our annual team draw as Landlord joins the session. So we're up to 19 cars now. So we're missing both McLaren drivers, BJ and Fan, not about for tonight's race. Pope reserving as the sole McLaren in tonight's race, so no points for them on offer, and that should set them up for 5th place in the standings, more or less. As the news broke, which I will reveal to them, that BJ, unfortunately, is leaving at the end of season 16. The news was broken to us at the end of the Texas Grand Prix, just after the stream was over. But of course, we will miss BJ greatly, and of course we wish him all the best in all walks of life. Because of course he's been a fantastic driver, fantastic servant to the league, and we'll miss having him around, because the racing's always been good when BJ's about. He's been a Fantastic competitor for so many years. But the time has come now. And of course, we've heard Pope for a long time bring up their fantastic title fight in Season 11. That was just before my time personally. And I only wish that I could have seen that. And there is the victor of that title battle. Pope there. 1 minute 16.845 his best effort. Only just in front of Ethan. And only just behind PJ Kellett. So it's all close right now. 7 minutes to go. No retirees from the session just yet. It is Wisburn. Of course, with BJ's absence, he'll be looking to try and close further on the McLaren in the championship. Wisburn over the line, goes P7. Fantastic lap there from him. So that'll put him up to start in the points paying place. Because Wisburn's still tied with Websy in the Drivers' Championship. Websy up there in 3rd place after a fantastic run there. And starting to show some flashes of that pace that took him to the runner-up finish in last season's RDL Championship. Grimmer goes 2nd fastest there, 1 minute 15.8, slotting himself in between Cott and Imrie. And Cott, though, responds immediately. 1 minute 15.525 from the Alfa Romeo. Yellow flag for up front, and that is one of the Red Bulls. That would be Sakir, who was slowing up to let those guys through. That would be the Alfa Romeo, I believe, of Curtis. He's got his team at Wisburn just there behind him. Sakir P11 in the minute. Yellow flag in sector 3. Looks like the slow Aston Martin. That would be Lucky Lambert, who still sits there in P5 with 5 minutes to go. So he'll be looking to try and nab some more points for Aston Martin, just to get him away from that gap between themselves and AlphaTauri at the bottom of the table. Across the line. Going for his next run. Grimmier there. I imagine we'll be going for one more run at the end of this one. So I should think we'll see him in the pit lane one more time. And from there, one last run at the end of the session to go full tilt and try and beat Cott's time. But Cott been on top throughout the session so far. And I see Reggie there starting a flying lap. We'll keep an eye on the Ferrari here. Still looking for those first points of the campaign. The only driver yet to score, and I'll tell you, it'll be a joyous day when Reggie does score points for us. Score points for in the league or Ferrari. Of course, he's been a consistent competitor. Always here, always fighting, always sort of in the mix, but unable to get the job done just yet. But you never know. I mean, he was thereabouts fighting towards the lower half of the points in Texas, so we could potentially see some more fight out of him this evening, which would always be positive to see. The more drivers you have fighting for those points paying places, the better. Of course, we started this season with perhaps one of the most competitive fields I've ever seen in my time commentating in the RDL. Across just under 4 seasons, so it's under 5 seasons rather, and 100 races. This is race 101 to be broadcast on the channel, and hopefully there'll be many more to come. Let's run a more Lucky Lambert here. Let's see how he navigates the chicanes. Keeping it nice and smooth. Getting all those curves. Oh! And on the exit there, on the entry to the second set, he was 1.7 down, but that lap's invalidated. I imagine we'll see him off into the pit lane now. Flying Duck starts a lap. Not too far back from Lucky at the minute. Could put himself on the inside of that third row. Of course, the run down to turn 1 could be chaotic. I think back to a late safety car restart we had last season, which to my knowledge ended in Cott taking the victory. And look how close this field is right now. you go down to P16. That would be JB. There's your gap. 1.3 seconds covering the entire pack. Yellow flag, sector 2. All cleared very quickly. Imrie on another lap here. We're just waiting on Lycon and Cottony Goblin to come out of the pit lane. Of course, I haven't seen Lycon for the last 3 races. I haven't seen him race Japan, Qatar or Texas. But he's back with us this week. Always good to have him back with us. But just needs to get himself a lap on the board, I think, at the very least. Flying Duck still P6. Over the line goes P5. He improves by just over a tenth. Imrie was only just up in the first sector. He's up in the second sector now. And could potentially stop himself back on the front row. But Grumio is on the racetrack on an outlap. So we could be seeing that change in a few minutes' time. Imrie then through 16 and now 17. Here comes the Ferrari. Blasting off the last corner. Can he do it? He puts himself into P2 and a fair deal closer to Cott than anyone has been so far. About a tenth and a half in it. Grumio on his outlap. Websy there. Landlord has set a time on it, 16.813, but he's on that lap going for one last run. He should have time to make it all the way back around again, but it's going to be very close. Going to find some breathing room on the track behind that Alpine there. The Alpine of PJ Kellett, who's on a lap. Of course, there was controversy last week in terms of Landlord in qualifying. He received a penalty for he was involved in a penalty for impeding him. I can't remember who to. I'll have to fact check that one and get back to you. But Landlord looking to recover here. Of course, it's big for him tonight because this is last chance saloon for him. He's 14 points back in the championship with 30 on offer. JB's retired from the session. He's retired out on the racetrack by the looks of things. He may have crashed the car because he's got some damage. But he can't continue on. So we're into the final minute of qualifying. 30 seconds to go. But Landlord needs a good qualifying. He hasn't been too quick over one lap in recent weeks. He's had the race pace, but perhaps with a higher starting spot, we could be seeing a bit more out of him tonight, as he knows what's on the line. His chances of a 4th driver's title slipping away, at least for this season. But we've seen that drivers come back from this before. Granted, that was with a different point system. Checkered flag has now fallen. Who will be the first car round? To the flag, it'll be Pope first. And Red J behind him. Pope is P15 right now. He's going to need a big push on this last lap. I see one of them say he's got some rail. That's bad, man. Badman has been fantastic, of course, since his return. And Wisburn and PJ both out. Was there a collision there? Was they both are calling it there at the end of their laps? Badman across the line. Goes P4. And Grumio's out. Grumio retires from qualifying. This looks like the pole position looks set to go Cott's way. Oh, spin there. And there goes Curtis around. And Red J slow too. Was this some kind of coming together that we missed there? Pogo over the line goes P10. Behind him, the next car is Websy. Websy over the line stays in 5th place. Next car through will be Landlord. Landlord over the line goes P7. Is a points paying start as it stands. Lucky over the line goes P8. Knox flies back out the points paying place to start. Curtis is slow. Red J into the pit lane. Cott into the pit lane. And it looks to be it. So once again, Cott finds himself on pole position. He'll lead Imrie, Grumio, Badman and Websy on that long run to the first corner. What an end to qualifying there. And I'm unsure if there were crashes there or if there were just mistakes that led to drivers deciding to back out. But let's have a look at the gaps here at the end of qualifying. Lycon and Cottony Goblin not setting times in the end. 1.3 separating the top 16 drivers. And if that's anything to go by, we could be in for a fantastic race. But it's Cott on pole. A fantastic effort from everyone all around there. Has to be said. Grumio starts in 3rd, Landlord in 7th. As it stands, that would not be enough. With Grumio scoring 6 points and Landlord scoring 2. So the championship would not be over from here. Grumio would need at least another place, maybe 2. But if Landlord finishes there and Grumio should win the race, he will not be champion. It will be Grumio tonight. So we'll go through your top 8 before we get to the intermission. So Koch starts on pole, Imre in 2nd, Grumio 3rd, and Babam in P4. Websy 5th, then PJ, Landlord, and Lucky Lambert rounds out your points paying starters. So that's your top 8. We're back to do a few minutes time to start the race. Don't go anywhere, because this could be an absolute RDO classic. Here we go then. It could be history in the making tonight in the Racers Driving League Season 16. The 20th round of the championship here in Mexico. And if qualifying was anything to go by, then we could be in for an absolute corker of a Grand Prix, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, a championship to be decided tonight potentially as well. Grumio leads Landlord by 14 points going in. If Landlord is 20 points back or further from Grumio at the end of tonight's race, then Grumio will be the champion for a 7th time in 16 seasons. There is your circuit. 17 corners on yours, Jomo Jimenez Rodriguez. Caught your previous winner. Starts on the pole in tonight's race. Looking to go back-to-back, both in terms of Mexico to Mexico and Grand Prix to Grand Prix. Winning last time out in Texas narrowly over Imre. Landlord came home 3rd in the end and Grumio 4th. So Landlord gained a point in the championship. But he's got 14 more to gain back in 3 rounds. He's got to gain at least 4 of them back tonight. Or at least maintain where he is now, in order to keep the championship alive for 2 more rounds at best. With Brazil and Abu Dhabi to come after tonight's race. Brazil on the 27th, and then we will have Abu Dhabi on the 4th of June. Excuse me, that would be the 3rd of June, if my maths are correct. I will confirm that before we get into the race. 3rd of June will be when the season comes to an end. Still on F1 23. A moments away now from the formation lap getting underway. A very, very tight-knit grid in qualifying. 3 drivers outside of the window. Red J set 1 minute 18, and then Lycon and Cotton Goblin who did not set lap times. But anything can still happen in tonight's race. If last season's race was also any alteration to what could happen tonight, then we could be in for again another fantastic race, because that was a field that was as competitive, if not more. Sorry, this is a field that was as competitive, if not more, than last season's. And we'll find out as to where they're up as we go through the starting grid. So starting from the back of the grid, then it's Cottony Goblin all by himself on the back row. Keep a look at starting tyres. So he starts on the hard tyre. Lycon in P18 on the outside of row 9 on the mediums. First race in a few weeks from. Good to see him back. Red J P17, one of 2 starts on the soft tyres. It didn't work from last time out in Texas, but hopefully this time out a bit more luck with it. JB P16, of course, this time not the lead Aston. Lucky Lambert up in P8, but both cars looking to get Aston Martin out of 9th and further away from AlphaTauri at the bottom of the table, with a threat of flying duck perhaps scoring points later on today. Curtis Shepard had a late incident with Red J at the end of qualifying, starts P15. No penalty for either. Well, it wasn't warranting that large collision, but it brought an end to Curtis's last lap. Starts on the mediums. Sakir debutant, reserving tonight in the Red Bull in place of Fergus. Starts from P14. Looking to go long on that first dip. One of 4 cars on the hards. Wisburn, his teammate, alongside him on P13. Wisburn, of course, 6th place in the championship already. Tied with Websy for 6th. Ethan starts in P12. Alpine, quite way up the grid today, looking at a potentially strong result. Pope there, normally in here, but today in the reserve role for McLaren. This should be his last reserve appearance of the season. Hopefully we'll get to see a post-race interview from him later on. Shane starts in P10, looking to nab some more points for Mercedes as they look to try and claw close to Haas and Alpine in the standings. Flying Duck P9, AlphaTauri's largest hope here for points rests on his shoulder starting in P9. And if he can score 3 of them, if he can finish in P6, and that should tie them with Aston Martin, provided they don't score. Lucky Lambert starts 8th, will be Aston's main force of points today, unless JD makes it come through the field. Landlord P7 needs to outscore Grimio by 6. Needs to avoid being outscored by Grimio by 6 in order to win, in order to kick the championship going. PJ P5, the lead Alpine today, also joined by Websy on row 3. Badman P4, fantastic qualifying from Mercedes driver, starting on the soft tyre, looking to get the edge on the start. Grimio needs to outscore Landlord by 6 to be champion for the 7th time. And on the front row, it's Imrie and Cott. Last week's top 2, who will lead us on that very long stretch of road towards the first score. You can barely see it from here, even on Cott's POV. And look how far back it is for Cottony Goblin. It's both Grimio and Flying don't go too far forward in their grid slots. Cottony takes the last place on the grid. And here we go. For the Mexican Grand Prix, it's 5 red lights. Lights out, foot to the floor. We are underway here in Mexico. Good start from Imrie there on the right-hand side as they charge that long run towards turn 1. Imrie away with the lead. Grimio behind him. Sorry, that's not Grimio. That's Badman behind him. But there goes Grimio on the outside, though. Fantastic getaway. Rare, great start from Grimio here. And the record champion has Imrie to his insides to go through turn 1. Cott and Badman side by side. It looks like Grimio will nip away and get up in front of the Ferrari. Cott away in 3rd. Badman being challenged by Landlord and Websy. But Landlord's had a great start there, up several places. PJ passing Websy now. Flying Duck there in P8. He's already running Lucky Lambert for P9. Already a split between P9 and the rest of the pack here. Wisburn gets around Shane. He's in P10 there. Everyone getting away nice and clean here. No huge collisions for anyone. But Grimio away from P3 on the grid. Gets around Imrie and Cott in quite dramatic fashion there. And Grimio takes the early lead. As they run through the chicane for the first time today. Imrie has some work to do here. Of course, he's mainly fighting Cott for 3rd place in the championship. But Grimio, as it stands here, would become champion. If he can win the race and Landlord finishes outside of the top 4, it goes to Grimio. And there's been a spin already. That's Flying Duck around the AlphaTauri. And AlphaTauri's hopes for points may have taken a bit of a knock here as Flying Duck goes around the first lap. No damage to that machine. It would be good to keep going, but he's fallen back quite a way here to the back of the pack, down to P19. Not a great start for him here. I shouldn't think we'll see him in the pit lane for repairs. The wing looks alright to me. He will continue on. Imrie right there on the back of Grimio as they're going to turn 1. Backs off a little bit. Let's go slow in, fast out. But Grimio defends there. Top 4 away. Landlord chasing Badman there. Cockpit poor on the exit there. Badman could try and close in a little bit as they run towards turn 4. Of course, next lap that'll be a DRS straight. The detection point for both straights coming at the end of the stadium section. And the speed trap going just towards turn 1. 3 DRS zones on the circuit. One of them considerably shorter than the others here. Grimio away by half second over Imrie. That's another half back to Cott, another half back to Badman, and another half again back to Landlord. So these guys separated by about 2.5 seconds. Websy 1.2 back in P6, holding strong at the minute. He's got Lucky and PJ company behind him. Of course, Alpine looking to solidify P6 in the Constructors' Championship, but have Haas breathing down the necks crucially, so then they need some points off of the American team there if they're going to have any chance. Oh, Websy, a bit wobble on the exit. Grimio sets the fast up of the race. Landlord now sets himself. 1 minute 19.667. Of course, that will become more crucial next season as we return to the full points format. Imrie again chasing Grimio, but can't quite take his chance just yet. Oh, bit of a slide there for the record champion through turn 1. Recovers it nice and easy. So the DRS not open just yet, but Imrie will have it for that long main straight. And if Cott can get close too, it could be a double whammy for the record champion. There is Cott in 3rd place, just keeping an eye out, biding his time for the minute. Landlord in P5 right now. That top 5 have broken away quite nicely. It's now 2.3 back to Websy 2.4. And we'll keep an eye on what happens with this last train behind him when DRS comes into play. And that's this time. So I imagine that Websy will get caught by the chasing pack. And here's where the lead change could come, because Imrie has been right there hounding Grumio throughout the lap. Oh, yellow flag. That's Wisburn who's gone. Looks like Wisburn saved it. Continue on, but Imrie is chasing Grumio now onto lap 4 of this Grand Prix. He looks to the outside of the racetrack, and this time the Williams has no defence. Imrie up into the lead at turn 1. See Lycon on the move, things up into P10 now. Fantastic start behind him. Big fight going on here. Red J, Wisburn, JB. It looks like Wisburn's going to win that fight through turn 1. Only just holding off the Ferrari there. Red J is here to fight. JB's there behind him too. Keep an eye out on that Aston Martin. Imrie now 5.5, now 6/10 over Grumio. Quite 8/10 back from the Williams. See Red J's red light flashing there means he's low on ERS. He's got less than 10% in the tank. And JB could see a potential attack lining up here. Runs a bit higher through the chicane there. Oh. He's gone for a different line. It might pay off if he gets a good enough jump. He's lost time. And he had Shane there. Oh, Shane on the exit. Contact with Ethan. Sakir jumps by. Imrie now a second to the good as we begin lap 5. And our debuting reserve there. Very nearly caught up in some shenanigans there. JB chasing a weaving Red J down the straight here. He's trying to break the toe as best he can, but JB is there. And this straight is just too long to avoid some time being gained. Up in front of him though, Wisburn being passed by the Alfa Romeo of Curtis. His teammate up there in P3. That was close. Apologies for that, almost changed to my face cam, which would not be what we want to do during this stream. Grumio's still there. He's giving Imrie good pressure at the minute. Can't quite follow back around him though. Because whereas Imrie was really clinging onto the back of the Williams throughout the third sector, Grumio is just not close enough for that for the minute. 8 points being scored from right now. Landlord, as it stands, is scoring 4. So the championship will continue on. The gap would be 18 points in the live standings. So if Grumio finishes second, then Landlord needs a top 6 finish in order to continue the title fight. Red J around Sakir. Bit of one with JB on the exit there. We'll keep an eye on the Red Bull as he comes through the last corner. Who will get DRS in this pack? Sakir's got it. Red J hasn't. Here's Ethan. We'll keep an eye on these two as they run towards turn 1. Websy gets taken by Lucky for P6. As Wisburn, sorry, Sakir finds his way around. Red J, oh, and there's Shane going for a move. Flying duck. Now that's the back of the pack and getting to work again. He's up to P17. Courtney Goblin at the rear of the field. Just one penalty so far today. That's that currently courtesy of Shane, which is 3 seconds for track limits. Up front, it's still Imrie. Plenty of time for things to happen though. We've still got 30 laps to run here in Mexico. Everyone's splitting out now a bit more further back in the field. There's a large train going on at the minute. Led by Lucky Lambert at P6. I think as long as he keeps leading that, then Landor will be safe for the minute. Short for safety car. But Landor more focused on looking to take Shane, sorry, to take Badman, going towards turn 1. I'm making all the mistakes in terms of drivers tonight. Landor into turn 1, up into 4th place. Fantastic move there from the 3-time series champion. Grumio back in the lead here. He's made the pass on Imrie with the DRS. Fantastic move from the Williams driver. Apologies we missed it there. Gremio now back it up into 10 points for the win at the minute. And there seems to still be a somewhat divide there between Cot and Landlord. There's top 3 and then Landlord and Badman. The gap 1.2 seconds between Cot and Landlord. Oh! And a slight wobble there for the other Williams driver there in Landlord. I imagine Imrie will want the lead back here as soon as he can get it. At this point in the race, there's no point in just trying to bide your time and wait for the last second to go for a move because there's still 28 laps of racing to come. Down the main straight, keep an eye on these guys here. We'll see if Cot can get anything as well. DRS well for both cars. Imrie's closing. He's used a lot of his DRS already. He can't use overtake. And for the minute, it looks like Gremio's safe in P1. Behind them, Websy also going unchallenged. That could change here. PJ's closing in quite quickly, but shouldn't go for a dive here. A bit too ambitious, I would think. Pope there in P9 in a minute, just to place that side of the points. Of course, reserves don't score for the Drivers' Championship, so wherever the reserve finished in the points order, that everyone else behind will get moved up a spot in the points pay. So as of right now, that last point, it should Pope score, and should Pope pass Lucky and score, the Pope point would then go to Lucky. Oh, yellow flag, that's Websy! Websy's crashed! That's a big looking shunt for the Haas there, and the safety car's been deployed. First safety car of the day here on lap number 8. And we could see some early tyre changes here because we're getting towards that medium window. JB drive through for speeding under the safety car. Maybe being caught up on the Delta there. And Landlord 5 seconds of speeding in the pits. That could be crucial for him. Imrie is away. Gremio is in soft tyres going on. And Landlord held a little bit there, waiting for the exit of his teammate. Landlord away on hard tyres. Perhaps I can go to the end from here. Be quite a tall order. Let's see how that pays off for him, or if it pays off for him. Gremio out front, but on soft tyres, so perhaps looking for another stop later in the race. Shane 5 seconds. That puts him on 8 now, speeding the pits. And that drive through for JB could be costly for him, and he'll be banking on a safety car, or another one too. So that has shaken up the order a little bit here. We have 3 drivers who stayed out. Those drivers being Sakir, then being Flying Duck, and also Courtney Goblin. So we'll see if that pays off for those guys. As it stands, in the championship is still as it was. Gremio leads the way. And as of right now, is gaining points on Landlord. He's gaining 5 as it stands. So that'll bring the gap to 19. If Gremio is to win the race, then Landlord needs to finish in that top 4. And with Badman, the 5th car in that train, he could be under a little bit of threat. Red J 3 seconds and multiple warnings. We've now got 5 drivers who have penalties to either to be applied or to be served. Served in the case of JB's drive-through. Of course, can't serve that under safety car. Needs to wait until the green flag comes back out. We have to do a lap under the green flag because I don't believe he can serve it straight off the bat. I could be wrong. We'll see what he chooses to do. On to lap 10 then. It's been a very tense start to the race so far. Drivers going for moves all over the shop. The DRS perhaps not being as effective in the majority of places. I think ERS management will also come into play at a late stage of the Grand Prix. And if you're Imrie, I'd say drivers who use employ that same sort of tactic and sort of go balls to the wall and run out of ERS quite quickly. That could land you in trouble later on. I imagine a late restart will have full charge for everybody. So Webbsy out of the race then. And that will not be good for Haas's chances of trying to overhaul Alpine. With PJ up in the points, getting 1 at the minute. That'll be 2. Should Sakhir score and then obviously be removed from the point scoring as he is a reserve. Safety car in this lap then, so that was a relatively quick safety car by comparison to usual standards. So we should be looking at a good restart here. Everyone is all bunched up. And it'll all come down to where Grimio chooses to go. There's several places he could try and go. He could go the exit of the stadium section. He could go at the end of turn 17. He could go just before turn 16. He could go midway through. We'll keep an eye on him here. But Grimio typically been quite good on the restarts this season. I see Sakhir on the outside of Badman there, looking at a challenge potentially. He gets back into line. Grimio waiting for a minute. Imrie pulling to the inside and Grimio is away. Didn't get as much of a jump as he might have liked, but he is away with the lead. On to lap 11. Flying Duck getting right to work here. Passing Sakhir on the outside as they charge towards that first corner. Landlord into third place. Might try and go for second off Imrie if he can. Imrie to the outside. Landlord's going to go to the inside here. 3 wide for the lead into turn 1. Landlord backs out of it just. Imrie on the inside. Grimio there looking to cause some discontent for the Williams team. It's a sandwich for Imrie and Cott, who gets back around Landlord just. They're still side by side and they run towards turn 4. Will Imrie go for the lead again here? Could try and pull to the inside, but not going to go for it yet. Plays it safe. Grimio maintains the top spot. Landlord looking for third place. Can he pull it off? It's very, very tight here. On the exit, Landlord jumps in front. Landlord into P3. And if Grimio's going to win this race, the least he can do for himself is damage limitation. But of course, anything can still happen. We've seen Grimio retire from this race before in the past. If my memory serves me correctly, to a few seasons ago. Yellow flag behind them. That is Ethan and Shane have some kind of coming together. Doesn't look like much damage in their case. Grimio now 5 tenths to the good. Landlord a second and a half behind. Of course, he's got a penalty to think about too. So it's a good thing that the fielders already sped out quite quickly. And here comes Cott. Might try to come back at him here. No battery being used on either car. Just staying as they are. Good toe though from the Alfa Romeo, who pulls the inside of the racetrack looking at it turn 1. But could Landlord come back on the outside? Cott defends beautifully there. Just about restricts access for Landlord to try and get back through. PJ Caledon Flying Duck going at it on the exit. And there goes Pope out of nowhere. Pope making it 3 wide. Going to try and take both cars here. Pope into P6. The season 11 champion has not lost his touch. Making a double overtake there. Keep an eye on both AlphaTauris here. Both of them looking at perhaps some points as it stands. Flying Duck P8, Lycon in P9. Of course, Flying Duck get to pit. He's the highest running driver yet to make a pit stop in this race. Badman still chasing Landlord right now. As it stands, because of that penalty, that would make Grimio champion because it would push Landlord out of the top 4. Because it's passing Lucky Lambert here. Lucky's dropped back a little bit since the pit stops. He's also got Wisburn threatening him here for position. Oh! Not the best exits for either car there. As fast as that's being set repeatedly, now it belongs to Cott at 18.264. On to lap 13 of this Grand Prix. We're a third of the way through now. And a lot of racing still to be done. I reckon we're definitely looking at least one more pit stop in this race. Wisburn to the inside of the racetrack. Side by side with Lucky. Lucky's got the edge going in. At turn 1, it is Wisburn away with P11, who looks to try and start hunting down Curtis if he can. But Curtis has got his hands for himself, trying to take on Flying Duck. DRS not in play for him just yet. And JB, of course, has served that driver penalty. He's now 10.5 seconds back from P17. And we're banking on another safety car, hopefully. Or at least hopefully for him. Imrie still chasing Grimio. And Imrie has been consistently closer on each run when challenging the Williams for the lead. Every time he's been in second. But this is arguably the furthest back he's been. You think back to that run before the safety car in the opening few laps when he was really just hanging on to the back of that Williams for dear life. He's keeping it composed. He knows he can make the move whenever he feels it necessary. Towards turn 1 again. Lap 14. DRS wide open for the Ferraris. They charge down the main straight once again. The crowd on their feet as Imrie looks to the inside of the racetrack and should get clear of Grimier towards turn 1. And he will just... Oh, lucky lad, but disqualified. Disqualified for blocking the pit lane. And it looks as though he may have potentially spun out. And from there... Well. It's been a long time since we've seen a disqualification for any reason in a Racers Driving League Grand Prix. We've seen it in qualifying, but you haven't seen it in the race for a long time. I think the last time we saw it was probably back last season in Azerbaijan. Courtney Goblin disqualified for passing the safety car, one in the lead. So it's been almost 40 rounds or so since we actually saw that happen. But now 2 cars out of the race. The 2 cars who, I said at the top of the broadcast, in terms of the race, were, in terms of starting places, probably the best chances for the team to score points based purely off starting position. Courtney Goblin in P13, JB in P16, that's their teammates. But Websy and Lucky Lamb both out of the race here. So that's 2 retirees then. Into turn 1, Grimier back in the lead again. And that is not what Landlord wants at the minute. Pope making the move on Lycon here. Lycon looking at points at the minute. It'll be 3 points. It's provided that Pope finishes in front of him. Keep an eye on this battle. I'll see if Lycon can come back on those soft tyres, but they've definitely seen better days. As have Grimier. I imagine we won't be seeing them out there too much longer. Look at the pressure that Lycon is keeping on the Season 11 champion as they run through the second sector. And PJ Keller not too far behind either. A mistake from either one of those cars could bring him back into play. It's only just out of DRS range. He's just put himself back in. Sakir, 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. He's down at the tail end of the field now in P17. Having made a stop for medium tyres. It's his first stop of the Grand Prix. Only waiting now. Websy was one of the cars who didn't stop. Flying Duck, the only one who is yet to visit the pit lane. Landlord passing Badman here. And Pope and Lycon, oh, very close to contact there. I'm not sure there was between the pair of them. PJ Keller though looks to take advantage on the exit if he can get Lycon on DRS. He's alongside the AlphaTauri now as they run towards turn 4. Looks like Lycon's got the better entry. He's on the inside. And puts the car back in front of the Alpine here. Running the ball with Badman here. Still chasing Landlord for that 4th spot. Keep an eye on these guys a lot throughout the day. 20 laps to go when they next cross the line. So as I say, we're nearing that halfway mark. Just above it right now. There's your tyres. Now, could Grimier put under further pressure here? Imrie was very close to the Williams on exit. Fell away a little bit, but could use a bit of battery if he feels it necessary. But just the slipstream will work for him for the minute. Caught quite low on battery too. Imrie to inside of the racetrack again. And these two are going back and forth, in a constant duel for position. Not sure there's a bit of tyre rub in there. That'll come together a little bit. But Imrie back in the lead. And could Cott take advantage of Grimier falling out of favour? Oh, penalty there for the Alfa Romeo. 3 seconds for multiple warnings. As of right now, that means he'll still stay where he is because he's 6 seconds in front of Landlord. So he'll stay P3. But that will just restrict him as to where he can finish, regardless of how he places in this 3-car race for the lead. Excuse me. Excuse me, had a bit of a coughing fit there. Not sure what that was about. Regardless, though, we carry on. Pope has pulled away from Lycon considerably now. Those soft tyres have definitely seen better days on the AlphaTauri. Further back, Wisburn by himself there in P10. Courtney Goblin P11 right now. He could have Flying Duck for company, though. Duck has come back through the field here. Yet to make that first stop. But after that spill on the first lap, trying to recover as best he can. If he can get a safety car again, to perhaps put him onto a set of hard tyres, maybe even a set of soft towards the end of the race, and that could cover him. Lycon, 5 seconds. Is speeding in the pit lane, and that could be a big dampener on AlphaTauri's chances of points today. With Duck already down the order, so both AlphaTauris there now dealing with issues. Medium tyres going on. And we've seen his teammate take those for just under half the race so far. So we could see them both go to the end, potentially. Perhaps a set of hard tyres for Flying Duck on his first stop will do the trick. Wisburn making the move now on Curtis for P8. I'll put the Red Bulls back in the points. Imrie leading, and he's pulling away now. Perhaps those soft tyres aren't doing their bit anymore for Grumio. Cott's there behind him. Not stopping just yet, because we saw him go quite a long way on soft tyres in recent races. We'll see how long he chooses to go this time round. But Cott is there and using overtake. Both cars using overtake. Imrie is not, so they're going to close on him regardless. Could we get closer to go for the lead again? He might try it. Not going to go for it, but Cott might. Oh. And I very nearly thought that Cott was going to try something there. Trying to sneak up the inside. Oh, a bit loose in the exit, a bit of a wobble. But the Alfa Romeo is still under control. It's 6 seconds back to Landlord. He's still got Badman pressurising him here. But perhaps losing time. Those hard tyres are still good on the Williams. And they'll be able to go a lot further into the Grand Prix. Perhaps looking at a set of hard... Perhaps looking at... Sorry, to go to the end. Maybe in a set of soft tyres in the late stages. Again, the amount of strategy that could change things if a safety car enters the picture. As Flying Duck takes Scotty Goblin now for P10. He's on the move. But again, hoping for that safety car if he can get it. Look at that. Cott really pressurising Grumio now. Flying Duck, 3 seconds. Look at that. 8 cars of the 17 still in this race have penalties. Grumio stays out another lap here. He's got a lot more battery than the 2 cars around him do. He can go all out attack here. Imrie is that red light still flashing on his Ferrari. That's at some stage he may need to start conserving that. But I mean, as it stands, what he's doing is working. So by all means, he could continue on with that. Down the inside goes Cott, looking at the position once again. He's on the outside, might try a switchback here. If he can get good enough exit, can't quite do it, but the idea was there. That was very creative from Cott in a technical sector that is quite difficult to just overtake as it is, let alone a switchback for second place. Landlord still being harangued by Badman. Pope on his own in P6. PJ by himself P7. Curtis under pressure from Wisburn here. Flying Duck 5 seconds back. He leads Courtney Goblin by 6/10. Both cars are penalties. Ethan will look to try and take advantage of that. Lycon just getting around Red J there for P13 on those much fresher medium tyres, and here's away. Curtis Shepherd, time penalty for him. And that will not help his points case. There is your full list of penalties so far. Grumio stays out once again. But Imrie has pulled away to outside of a second, and Cott is there. He pulls to the outside of the racetrack, taking full advantage. He says, thank you very much. I'll slide right through Grimio, and I'll nick P2 off you. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Cott into second place, and now looking to hunt down Imrie for the top spot. And this is good for Landlord. This is what he wants right now. He wants Grimio to be gaining as little lead as he can. Badman right there. So as things stand, Grimio will only be getting 2 points in this race at the minute. However, he will gain 4 should he finish within 3 seconds of Cott. Or just in front of Cott. So could Cott potentially give Imrie a real attack to try and get the lead back? Of course, Cott lost out in the start, didn't get the best of getaways. And Imrie took full impotence, nabbed the lead, but only for a few moments because Grimio came charging around both of them and took the lead back. So Cott looking to take P1 for the first time today if he can get close enough. He'll go to the inside of the racetrack and up in front of Imrie, no trouble at all. Lap 22, and Cott is back in the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix once again. Badman passing Landlord here, side by side, going towards the corner. Badman gets clear though. Up into 4th place. So apologies, my calculation was wrong. Now Grimio is only gaining 2 points on Landlord. Before he was getting just 1. As of right now, Landlord will still finish in P6, but get the points for P5, given that Pope is a reserve. But he's doing a fantastic job here. Of course, it was in the AlphaTauri for all the other races he's reserved this season, to my mind. In the McLaren this time round, the car that, of course, won the Constructors' Championship last season. I'm going to have to start getting used to seeing that face and that number 29 back on the racetrack again. As Pope looks to return to full-time racing next season. Of course, it's only have 2 more weeks for him in the commentary box. Of course, we will miss him dearly when he goes. But for now, we're just getting a preview here of what we could be seeing on F1 24. Cott now, 1.2 to the good. So if Imrie and Grimio coming for what should be the last stops of the race. Hard tyres on for Imrie. Soft tyres, not yet. Grimio not making a change just yet. Going for mediums here. Badman's in too. Medium tyres on that Silver Arrow, and he is gone. Anyone else taking the plunge here, making what could be the last stop. Wisburn staying out still. Curtis also staying out. It looks like everyone will be keeping on their current tyres. Flying Duck yet to make his pit stop. Oh, contact! And Badman very nearly came across the AlphaTauri there, so he's right on board. Lycon gets through. And one more exit for him though. A little bit loose at corner, but losing a bit of traction. And Badman looking to close in. But I doubt Flying Duck will be too pleased with that. A move that could potentially have taken them both out of the Grand Prix. 4 cars in front of the leaders who are yet to make their stops. That'll be Cott, Landlord, Pope and Caleb. We'll see where Cott comes out. I imagine he'll be stopping this time. Yes, he's coming in. Here we go. Oh! I'm not sure we got damage there. That could have been costly. Whatever it was, he's staying out. He's avoided damage somehow. Medium tyres on, and he is gone. Pope into P2 here. Landlord moves into the lead of the race. Is it worth a gamble from Landlord to try and go to the end of the race on those tyres? Has he got any chance here? Because, of course, should this pay off when he wins the race, that'd be a big number of points gained. And Grimio's in P6 right now. Those hard tyres could go quite long. I imagine that he would not want a safety car right now because that would mean everyone goes on... Actually, he might want a safety car because everyone goes on mediums or soft, but he would have to stop. So you want to give it a few laps potentially before the right window for that to happen. Because we've seen late safety cars here before. So Landor down in the lead, Pope in second and PJ in third. Cott fourth right now. He got out in front of both Imrie and Grumio. But those guys still separated by virtually nothing. Wisburn 3 seconds back. He may also try and go to the end on those hard tyres, but may get caught by Curtis and Bat. Will get caught by Curtis and definitely caught by Badman. I imagine Curtis will be going for the same sort of tactic. Imrie 3 seconds. And that could be costly for him too. And now it looks like Grumio will be finishing in P4 at best. And with the cars, he's been challenging all day. Now all with penalties except for Badman, who's been not challenging to him at the minute. As Imrie goes through, as the next one to be taken by... Oh, contact! Imrie runs into the back of Grumio. I'm not sure there's damage to that Ferrari. It looks like he's okay from here. As Cott starts making moves, he goes to the outside of Khaled. PJ Khaled going towards the corner here. Cott now in P3. And as it stands, about just under 8 seconds off the lead. Grumio now finding a way through to Imrie, looks to try and looks to follow the Williams, and he does. Imrie to P5. Now, what in this case would Landor do? Normally, we'd ask Pope what the best call would be, but he's sitting there in second place. So he can't quite do that. Oh, Shane is retired in the pit lane here. Shane called an end to his race early then. So just over 10 laps to go. I'm not sure that there was damage or didn't see anything what happened, but our third retiree is Shane. Of course, Badman can still score. Just needs to avoid a penalty, and we'll be able to gain a number of spots with ease. You see Shane's AI back on the racetrack. That could be a hazard potentially. But imagine once he's able to pop a turn one, he'll be able to do that just easily. No issue there. Hopefully it won't get in the way of flying ducks on the way into turn one there. He's there on the racing line. And he goes to the outside, lets duck go. So the green flag will be back out in a moment or two. The track will be completely clear. We'll be able to go racing again. Badman P8 and now pressurising Wisburn for P7. These two have been standout performers in recent races, consistently running for points. 10 laps to go. I'd imagine that Landor might actually take this risk and try and stay to the end on those tyres, just to try and nab a few more points. But of course, he's got that penalty to think about. But with Cott and Imrie also having penalties of their own, then that makes the job a little bit easier. If they get within 2 seconds of him, then which they're close to doing, then he'll lose both those places. And Grumio now taking Imrie for P4. Pope is there among the leaders now. So those main three, Grumio, Cott, Imrie, have been the leaders the majority of the race. And I think, short of a late safety car, Landor may try and finish the job on these tyres. I think at this point, the window may have passed from him. I think he can afford to, short for safety car. If he boxes again, the championship might just be over. So he's going all out here. I could be wrong, but it looks as though that's what he's doing. But Cott is there with him. Those medium tyres are working to a T right now. Cott 2.5 seconds in front of Pope, and crucially in front of Grumio and Imrie, who are stuck behind Pope at the minute. Pope is under no obligation to move over and let these guys go. He can't. He's a champion. He's in that pantheon with Imrie, with Grumio and Landor. He can fight them if he wants to. And Cott's going to go against Landor now for the lead. This could be a very entertaining fight, but it could be over as soon as it begins. Cott will have DRS and with his battery, but Landor's got a lot of his left, so he'll be able to maintain a lead as best he can. And he's pulling away from Cott by the looks of things. Both Grumio and Imrie now around Pope, who could try and potentially have a podium in these late stages if that penalty comes into play. Oh, Cott right to the inside there. Very late on Landor. Doesn't quite pull it off, but Landlord holding up Cott will allow the other guys back into the fight. But Cott goes to the inside and takes the lead. I think Landlord's chance of winning this race now was shot. And he may finish. It looks like P4 for him as it stands. With Pope will finish in front of him, but in terms of points, it will be P4, which if Grimeo wins, will be enough to keep the championship going to the next round. It's looking more and more likely, though, that Brazil will be where the title run comes to an end. But you never know, strange things have happened. Oh, contact! The two title rivals collide there. Landlord is shunted out of the way by Grumio. Controversy here between the two teammates. In the latter stage on lap 29. Grumio into P2 now. Landlord in P4. Imri between them. Can Landlord maintain those tyres and stay close? We'll know shortly. Pope is falling away. Sakir, 3-second time penalty as Badman to the inside of PJ Callan into turn 1. If Badman, the championship may rest in his hands. If he can close in enough from those leaders to move Landlord down to P5 in terms of once he receives that penalty, then it might be over for him. But for that, Grumio would need to win the race. That's a big ask. But saying that, Cott has that penalty to think about. So Grumio is just in range to win the race as it stands. He's got to maintain this gap or close in. And he's got to do that while also fending off a hard charging Ferrari of Imri. Imri, who's been the constant thorn in the side of the Williams throughout the Grand Prix. Grumio needs to maintain his place at the very least. Flying duck, 3 seconds now. That's 6 seconds for him. Oh, Sakir trying on him. He's got 9 seconds to his own name. JB is closing up to the cars at the back of the pack there, so could try and nab a few more places, and I imagine he will get them after penalties are applied. Speaking of which, we'll have a look at places gained, of course, it's probably. We didn't actually see that earlier on. The driver who's gained the most places today is Lycon, who's currently sits in P9. He's gained 9 places after starting from P18. The driver who's dropped the most in terms of cars still on track is Flying Duck, who's only dropped 4. But Websy, of course, has dropped the most with 13 after that crash earlier on in the race that brought out the safety car. The return of the race on its head. Six laps to go, and Cott crosses the line. Grumio there in P3 at the minute, but that will change. Imri, though, is 3.3 back. So as of right now, Cott is doing enough to win the race, which means Grumio will finish second. Badman's closing the gap. The gap now 4 seconds. He's gained about 2 in the last 2 laps or so. Getting a second a lap as it stands, and that will mean that if he continues at that rate, he will catch the Williams. I mean, he's within penalty range now. So he might even have to pass Landlord. If PJ was to also close, that may be game, set and match. As Grumio does not look like he's going to be winning this race today. Short something going wrong for the 2 leaders in front over the final 5.5 laps. Cott looks to have this one under control. He's 3.6 to the good, 3.4 to the good over a driver who is currently holding up. The driver who is the main threat to him to win this race. If Grumio gets a penalty, that opens things up completely. And it will mean that chances are the championship carries on to the next round. Cott, though, looking to close that gap on Imri in the standings. That gap will go down to just 6 points should things stay as they are. 5 laps to the end. Grumio quite low on battery here. The red light is flashing on both cars. Flashing on Cott's too. Landlord in P4. Pope looking to close. It'll come down to who's got that straight line speed, which Pope has because of the DRS. In terms of gap to Landlord, that's what we're looking at for the minute. As it stands right now, PJ is 3 seconds back from where he needs to be to take Landlord. He's got to bring the car home without getting a track limits penalty. That's the crucial thing. That's the crucial detail. If he gets one of those, that'll bring the gap to 8 seconds, and that could mean things are a bit more difficult for him to keep that title fight alive. Pope is on the exit, looking. He's on the inside for the right-hander. Can't quite get in there. Falls well on the exit. Landlord maintains his place. But the more those guys fight, the closer everyone else can get. PJ is also on 23 lap old, worn, hard tyres. So I doubt he's in a position to actually gain too much time. Same case goes for Wisburn. Imrie still chasing Grimmer here. If he can't take P2 in the official order, he'll try and take it on track if he can. DRS deployed. Landon has got Pope and now almost Batman for company 2. 4 laps left to settle this thing. Pope is through. Now, of course, if Pope were a full-time driver, then this would be a very different story for the championship. But as of right now, with Grimmer down where he is, and looking to be finishing second, a top 7 finish will do for a top 6 finish will do for Landlord, and he may just about get that. The gap will go to 19 points, and not 20. 20 is the number, because from there, Landlord could not win the championship. Grimmer would win it on countback if Landlord was to win the last 2 races and Grimmer not score. Grimmer has 8 victories this season to Landlord's 1. Consistency has been the name of the game for the Williams, currently in P4. He's run his teammate this close many times in the past. Pope is there, looking to challenge. Wisburn's closing up here to PJ Khaled. We could see a late change for P7, but it looks like the driver's finishing the points are set for the minute. Unless Ethan comes into play, which I doubt he will at this late stage. Grimio now back into P2. Caught now 4 seconds in front, more or less. Landlord's now got 2 cars on his tail. Pope to the outside. Can't quite find a way in. Needs that last key to the puzzle. He may be trying to wait to the last second to go for it. Oh, Batman! Very close to losing the car. Saves it. And the exit to turn 3 there has been a very, very big pressure point for these guys today. Mercedes scoring points as of right now. That'll push them ever close to Haas and Alpine in the standings. Could finish as high as 6th coming into the season. With 2 rounds to go, that could go anyone's way. Cott puts a lap on Red J. He's 2 laps from his 3rd win of the season. Grimio is now in front of Imrie, looking to pull away if he can. Landlord is still keeping Pope and Batman at bay. Feel like everyone goes quite split up here. Sakir chasing Flying Duck for P13. It's the only other real fight going on at the minute. One and a half laps to go. Grimio knows as of right now this is not enough. He'd need another penalty from Cott in order for things to change. Because Landlord will be finishing P5 points-wise as things stand, thanks to that 5-second penalty. If Cott gets another penalty and Grimio stays where he is, then Grimio may just win the championship. And Grimio, as I say that, he gets one himself. All of a sudden, Imrie knows second place is back on and could Red J assist him somehow. I doubt he can. Oh, contact! A tap there for Grimio as he gets stuck behind the Ferrari of Red J, who Hasn't got a spot to move out the way. On the outside lifts. As Cott starts the last lap, he's now 6 seconds in front of these guys. So now they're racing for second. And Landlord can now more or less breathe easy. So as long as he makes the flag now, he knows the championship will go to Brazil. Pope and Badman side by side now. Badman looking for P5, trying to nab P4 at the finish. He'll take it because of Landlord's penalty. PJ Khaled out of range to impact Landlord late on. Landlord needs to bring this thing home, no drama now. How can he do that with 2 cars pressurising him? We'll keep an eye on them. Cott, though, is on his way through the second sector. And looking to capture his 3rd win of the campaign. Austria was the first. He had to wait quite a while to last week at Texas to nab number 2. And as the stands rise to greet him here in the stadium section, as they do season after season. They love their RDL here in Mexico. And Cott will set the checkered flag as he rounds off turn 17 and win the Pole of the Orient. Cott Fire takes the checkered flag. He wins in Mexico. Grimio narrowly beat out Imri for second place. Just that penalty could have decided things very late on. 2 tenths separate them. Landlord will look to finish the race in P6, but will cross the line 4th. Badman will take P5. Pope in P6. Both cars get bumped up a place. Can Badman take Landlord? No, he can't. But we'll get there in the end. Pope P5 and a fantastic race on his return. And keep an eye out for that name and that driver in season 17. PJ Khaled 7th in the end. Landlord finishes in 6th place. He scores 3 points. Grimio scores 8 points. The gap now 19 points and the championship will go to Brazil. PJ 7th, Wisman over the line in 8th, Lycon 9th, Curtis in 10th, Ethan Vision 11th, Courtney Goblin will take home 12th place in the end. Flying Duck will narrowly hold off Sakir for 13th. Oh, both cars, or at least Flying Duck shot over the line. At least he crossed the line. We've seen that in the past where other drivers haven't done that. JB with the last finisher of Red J a lap down. What a race here to cap things off. Cott is your winner. 3rd win of the season. And the championship will continue to next week. Albeit by very slim margins. Lala will need to win the race and have Grimio fail to score in order to keep the championship going to the reverse grid finale in Abu Dhabi. Brilliant effort all round from everyone. What an exciting race that was. I do hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And we'll get post-race interviews going very shortly here. But excellent Grand Prix. Ran well by everyone. Cott's your winner then. Grimio 2nd and Imri in 3rd. How many times have we seen this combination on the podium so far this season? I have to get someone to count that up. But Cott wins it. We'll go through your final results. So Babao finishing 4th place behind the podium status. Pope in P5, Landlord P6. The championship will continue on. PJ 7th, 2 points for Alpine, and Wisburn nabs the last one on offer. Lycon will finish 9th and Curtis in 10th. Ethan 11th, Courtney Goblin in 12th. Flying Duck 13th, Sakia 14th, JB 15th, Red J 16th, Shane 17th, Websy 18th, and Lucky Lambert 19th. Those guys all failing to finish in today's race. So that will do it for tonight's Mexican Grand Prix. We'll get post-race interviews going shortly here. I'll open things up. We've been promised an interview by Pope, so hopefully he'll come along for one. He'll be used to being here, so there'll be no jitters there in terms of the interviews. And we have our race winner in immediately. And as I'll unmute my Discord on stream, make sure it's all working okay. Cott, mate, welcome. You've done it again. Congratulations. 2 wins in a row. I mean, yeah, I imagine you are. That was an intense race, of course. Imri and Grimmo put on quite a lot of pressure. Did you have a good time racing those guys today?
Yeah, it was a real challenge, especially on that stint at the Hards, just trying to keep up with them. It was a challenge in itself. They had such great pace, I was just able to break away. That's what allowed me to take the win today.
I mean, from the start, I mean, you were out there to begin with, but in terms of off the line, you didn't have a fantastic getaway there. Was it just those guys were quicker than you on the launch?
On the hards, I knew I was going to be slow, but I just kept having wheel spin off the start. I went into third gear and I was still having wheel spin. But they did have a good start and there's...
Ouch. I imagine the wheel spin would have been a big issue there. In terms, of course, could we had a safety car midway through the Grand Prix. Did that impact your strategy at all? Oh, hang on a minute. He's deafed himself. Oh, okay. Be back there. Got you still with us, mate? I'm not sure if you can hear us. Okay,
Got it. I can hear you.
yeah, you can always hear me. How can you not? Okay, while Cott's sorting that, we'll see if we can get something out of you. Well, I mean, that was a turn for the books, wasn't it? Compared to your other reserve finishes, this is your best one so far this season, wasn't it?
I think so. Maybe P4 at Spain. I can't remember what Spain was, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, it was an alright race. Obviously, qualifying was an absolute nightmare. I've seen Stevie Wonder keep the car in track limits more than me, and he's blind. So yeah, it was real tough. But I think the pace all around was really, really good. I think, obviously keeping up with Landlord, who is contending for the championship this season, and I think in qualifying I probably could have been P4, P5, somewhere around there. So had really good pace. It's just obviously when it comes to a race and you've not raced for 5 months, I think it is now, it really shows. I think come to it.
I mean, of course, in terms of the start, you must have been making a fair few places there. Was there any secret to that at all, or was it just a good launch time?
Just be fantastic, just like me. Yeah, I mean, if you're as good as Pope, season 11 champion, season 13 Monaco race winner, or season 14, I can't remember which one it is. Probably won them all. You know, it naturally comes to you, but it's just basically keep your nose out of trouble most of the time. There's a lot of tussling, and yeah, make the most of the mediums. But yeah, it's just one of those. I'm happy with the race, and it's a good setting for things to come.
Of course, in terms of that safety car, which may have impacted people's plans, but did that have any impact on you?
Yeah, I was going to go to the softs at the end of the race, which, looking back at it, probably wouldn't have been a nice strategy. But yeah, just sat on the hards, and I was on like 80% tyre wear by the end of it as well. So I got pretty lucky with the timing of it, and maybe I think that's why I lost so much time to the leaders especially. But yeah, got pretty lucky, to be honest, with the safety car.
Of course, there are crucial questions I do have to ask you on behalf of all our viewers here. Will you be with us the last 2 races in here?
I will. I should be. But yeah, more than likely I will be in the commentary booth.
Okay. Are we any further along with what song we're going for? We're keeping that surprise.
We're going to keep it a surprise, mainly because I haven't decided it yet, but yeah, we're going to keep it a surprise.
You'll let us know, yeah, before you start, so we know to cover our ears, don't you?
Oh, yeah, of course. As always, I'll let you know pre-warning.
Fair enough. Okay, well, I mean, you can stick around for Cott's interview if you want, and then we can cap up the stream like we normally do.
Oh, of course, yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Saying that, I'm not sure if Cott's having issues at the minute. Okay, I think he is. I think Cott's interview is done, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, it's close fight. The championship is not over yet. I'm not sure if you're aware of the situation, but now the point gap stands at 19, so it is nearing its end. And I imagine next week, me and you will be crowning a champion in Grumio unless things go dramatically wrong for him.
Yeah, at one point, obviously. It's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, I think today showed Lalo was on the wrong strategy compared to his teammate. Just wasn't able to keep the pace up with Grumio, and I think that's been really showing of the latter half of the season. He's just not been able to compete on a track-to-track basis with Grumio, unlike the first half of the season, which I think's kind of extended this gap. Obviously, it's still really close, but extended it in Grumio's favour. And I think, yeah, you are correct. I think next week it's Brazil, I want to say, because I think we are doing reverse grid finale at Abu Dhabi.
We are, yes. There's been no vote this season, so I imagine we'll be going for Abu Dhabi. I've never seen an Abu Dhabi final race in this league, and I've never seen a reverse grid race at Abu Dhabi either.
Was it not last season?
No, last year it was Brazil. Because Abu Dhabi was the last race you could make, so that's what we did party in UAE.
Oh yeah, I remember now.
Remember.
Yeah, I mean Abu Dhabi last year was really good.
It was, yeah.
Like, really, really good. So I'm
until
happy with...
until the two Arsenal's and Aston Martin set up and kind of ruined things.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that bit.
We'll have none of that this time round.
Oh, hopefully not. Yeah, it'll be me instead.
Don't do that. You're not allowed. Legally, you're not allowed. I'm not letting you. Restraining order.
Yeah, no. It's really good, and everyone. I think obviously this game's now on its deathbed. New game comes out in 7 days.
I'm so excited.
So it's 7 days now. So 8, sorry. If you get the championship edition. So I think these drivers are pushing everything to the limits, and it really shows. Like I was saying, I've come into this out of complete practice, done a few laps on time trial, took a set up from time trial, but these drivers are so in tune with the car. They can feel everything, and it shows that. I would say I'm pretty quick, but it just shows a complete golfing class when you're not racing week in, week out.
I'll cut you off. We haven't caught back. Any luck?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, we go. Okay, right. So we'll finish with the interview then. So, he's deafened himself again. I am not sure what is happening there. This is a little bit awkward.
I can do the interview as cut if you'd like.
I don't know if Beauty believes that. I don't know. I'm not sure your impression's up to the task.
Oh, my impressions are fantastic. You know.
I believe when I see it. Unless you could do the impression of me, that'd be pretty funny.
No, maybe the last race of the season.
Fair. Okay, so Cott's interview is off. We'll still say well done on the win, and it just means just 6 points between him and Imri in the standings now. Actually, no, sorry, no, make that 4 points because Grimmy finished second. So all very close between those guys.
Really,
so third place
really close. I completely forgot about that fight for P3. Yeah, Cott's really had a strong second half of the season. I think it struggled, I'd say, in that first half, but really come to his own. And it'll be interesting to see, obviously, going to next season. I mentioned this at the race, but Japan is round 4, I think, round 3, round 4 of the calendar, and I think that's where Cott's pace really picked up from this season, as well as his debut season where he won the 3 races in a row. So I'm very intrigued to see if that will play any factor.
Well, he could win 3 in a row next week if he wins Brazil, but you never know. We'll start capping things off then. You were in the race this time, but we'll still ask you to give a word of the race. What's your word of the race, Pope?
I'm gonna say, can I just say DRS, because everyone was in a DRS train, and if he wasn't in that, oh my god.
Should we say train?
It was tough. Yeah, train. I like train. Choo choo.
Choo choo indeed. Truly train. Okay, so that is Pope's word of the race. So everyone, when the stream becomes a video, make sure to go into the comment section, type the word train or DRS train, whatever you want, and let us know what you think of Pope's commentary and how much you'll miss him in 2 weeks when he is gone from us, because we're all gonna cry.
It'd be fine. I'll be here. I'll be giving you post-race interviews after I win my race.
I'll be the same. Okay, we'll cap things off there then before I embarrass myself further. Thank you guys for watching. 27th of May, the next race. 2 rounds to go, and this season comes to a very satisfying end. 2 rounds. We could see a champion crown next week. Good night, everybody. I've been Zach RC. He's been Pope briefly, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.